Malawi nziko mwathu muno mumachitika nkhani zosiyana-siyana zimene zimatipangisa ife ngati nzika kuba khonde. Ndepena timatha kukumana ngati azibambo babawo kucheza kazimayi panjigo pena kunchini kuchigayo kumeneko kukambirana nkhani zosiyana-siyana zimene zikuchitika mdziko lino la Malawi. Nkhani zimatha kukhala za masewero, nkhani za nsangaluso, nkhani za ndale. Koma lero pano pa Face2Face Podcast tikufuna tikambirane nkhani za ndale. Ndi nkhani ngati zizi tikamakambirana pa mbalambanda ngati pano timafuna kupeza nsalamangwe kapena kuti ma experts amene timayenera kukhala nawo ndithu pansi tikambisane nawo nkhani zimene zikuchitika mdziko lino la Malawi. Ine ndine Victor DAFFRECE. Lero mu show yathu tikucheza ndi Humphrey Mvula amene ndi mmodzi mwa anthu odziwika mdziko muno pa nkhani ya ndale, amayankhulapo nkhani za ndale, nkhani za masewero. Koma lero limene ndanenera tikambirana nkhani za ndale. Amvula ndikulandireni pano pa Face2Face Podcast. Inu ndine ticheze maso ndi maso.
Zikomo kwambiri andi zikomo kunditana kuzikhale nawo.
Amvula macheza athu asanakolere moto pano tikufuna tikambeko nkhani za campaign. As we know, tili munyengo ya campaign. Pa 16 September pano, Malawians are going to the polls to elect the president, members of parliament, as well as ward councillors. I wanted us to have a deep reflection on the campaign trail. Does it have the gravitas of a campaign in comparison to what we saw in chaka chimene cha 2019 komanso 2020 nthawi ya masankho? Mukusiyanisa bwanji makampeni awiri amenewa?
Makampeni a chaka chino cha 2025 ni kampeni ena mbuyo kukana 1994, 1999, 2004, 2009, 2014 and ukubira kuti ndoporerako this year so kuona fumbi limene limatuluka ndi general election campaign. Kuyamba zinamba mochepa zikamafika popanga nomination ijama ngokhala formality mbuyo koma anthu mwina 3-6 months limakhala itakolera kale anthu aku crisscrossing this country ukafuna mavoto ukapempa mavoto anthu amene afuna kuyima ngati ma shadow councillors kandi ma MP na also akukangalika kwambiri. Koma this campaign is lukewarm, politically lukewarm. Sina tente siti kuwaona ma candidate au president for example kuyenda kuti mwina azikasaka mavoti ena paka lero sanatuluse ma manifesto mwina we akani I think confirm kuti mwina IMCP arazalesa kwera natulusa manifesto. Professor Peter Mutharika DPP former president anatulusa manifesto. My Joyce Banda na also natuluka manifesto. But I have not seen manifesto 1 to ena because I report 19 amena kuimena ngati ma presidential candidates. I have not up to date seen a manifesto. So out of the 3 amena panga submit my manifesto kumene kuli mwina in my opinion a proper structured manifesto from start to finish. This depends with the MCP the Lazarus Tokwera, the my Joyce Banda. Should I tell you what I mean by structured? Manifesto ni chino chimene chimapelekedwa kwambiri ndi presidential candidate ama uza Malawi kuti ine mukandisankha ndizakuchitirani izi zimene zachakwera napaka. He's been up and down. Anambira ku Lilongwe, anabira ku Lower Shire, anazapita ku Eastern Region, Mangochi, anazapita ku Mport. Anakapanga president. I have seen my Joyce Banda na also apangapo kuzungulira not necessarily kupanga launch ndi kuzungulira kupanga kuchoza manifesto yao. Professor Peter Mutharika of DPP anapanga manifesto yao. Koma sana pange launch iwo anaipeleka kwa amene ali running mate awo.
Inu Amvula mukuona kuti pali kusiyana kulikonse kuti manifesto ijenapelekedwa ndi vice amene akuyenda nawo ngati running mate. Pali kusiyana kwa mtundu wanji pamene manifesto ndi manifesto basi.
Kusiyana ku manifesto ndingosiyanisa pawiri. One, constitution yathu imanena kuti running mate amene angazakhale vice president amangomuthandizira president, alibe mandate, alibe mphamvu yopanga promise oyopanga china chilichonse kupatula kuti president yo wachipani yo amene wachitaya atampasa ntchito kuti kapangeni. Ndi uyu sangapange committee ziko, sangapange committee ma voters kuti ine ndikuti manifesto ndi athu, because azikhala ngati kulankhula mwachipongwe timati opakariyala saimbabera, opakariyala samayimbabera, kutanthauza kuti munthu amene ali pakariyala sangapite kusokolo. The only critical time imene presidential candidate amene yekha kuzuka ndi kunena kuti ine this is what I pray, because he's signing a social contract between iyeyo ndi Malawi, and that must be said by that person, iyeyo ngati presidential candidate. Sadapiteso opanga launch manifesto ko anapita kunyamba koma nangokhala mgalimoto. You're speaking from the car. Again, that does not speak very well in terms of delivery, because you must establish that relationship between you as somebody who wants to be a president and the people, and you must be signing that that contract, beginning to say it is not a game of surrogates. Singani yoti antu akulankulira.
Koma Mvula inu
mungopitirira. In terms of text, it is the same text, but we are saying delivery. Somebody must say this is what I do.
Nde Mvula, what if someone challenges your opinion kunena kuti amuthalikawo senakatayuza itagwisa ntchito chisanzo cha amuthalika kuti sanakapereke nawo manifesto yo. Yes. Then ndifuna munthu wina atata kupangeni challenge niyo Mvula kunena kuti amuthalika sakuoneseratu kuti suppose atakhala kuti awina chisankho ndikuti mayi Jane answer azapasako mphamvu ndithu kuwapasa kuti ayi mayi answer panganiza kuti chakuti kapena kuti sakuoneseratu kuti iwo azapanga on the presidency kuti ine ndine vice amene ndongwimba
ndakuchirati kuti constitution yathu imanena kuti amene masanga president sumasanga vice president. Vice president amakhala assistant wa president, amapanga zimene amatumidwa ndi president, amapanga zimene watumidwa ndi president, so ndiwothandiza. So ownership ya manifesto must be done at the initiation ya manifesto opanga present by that person. Kayawe kama page 4 or 5, 6, 7, nanena kuti this is what I preach, it is unkwerenga, that's for me, it's fine. Look, people may have different opinion, but in politics, we run with conventions, history, how we have done it. Kandi kwa America kakuti, it is the presidential candidate who comes out and delivers the manifesto.
So according to you, it is not necessarily the content of that manifesto booklet, but who delivers it?
No, it is both.
It is
both. The content of the document, and the person delivering it must show ownership. This is a manifesto because akakhala munalifusa fusulana bakakhala kuti akawina masankho sizingateke kuti azayendese boma ndajenasi azayendesa ndiwo palibe opportunity. Constitution yathu chikupereka mphamvu zimene zozo akhoza kutumidwa or akhoza kuyendesa bomalo iwo atachokapo or iwo mwina something is not well or mwina is not there at that particular time. But that government has got to be run. He has got to say ndikupanga delegate iwe tokapo upange zako.
But Bwana Mvula, are you implying that manifesto imakhala idea ya candidate and not necessarily a collective of ideas of that particular political establishment? Let's say tikakambaza manifesto ya India DPP osati manifesto ya Peter Mutharika, tikakamba manifesto ya India MCP osati manifesto ya Ajakwera, koma imakhala kuti it's a collective idea.
The formation ya manifesto the presidential candidate arindazi zache NGC koma at the end of the day bwana ndiyeyo. In any organization, the person who takes up the can, the ultimate leader, the buck stops at that person, and whatever happens is symbolizes wisdom, willingness yaiyeyo kuti zinthu zilipo. Sitimafuna accountability. Timafuna kuti mawa asizanene kuti koma chinthu chineyo sinapange ndine or iye inangokhala anangondipangira anzanga kuti ineyo mwina I didn't want to have this. We would want somebody who is there to own that document. Today, you're throwing stones, or we are throwing stones at Chakwera on a manifesto. Imene was basically classified or described as Tonse Manifesto. Many Munari is party 9. But today, the kind of stops at Chakwera. Ultimately, you're not mentioning many Munari Sarosiri, many Munari Mai Joyce Pan, many Munari Enoch Jahana, many Munari Antukarima 9 or 8. We're not talking about them. That tells you that Chinchuchima Panga hinge on the ultimate leader that takes up the responsibility. And our constitution gives that authority. And Tikama voter, Tima votera president.
Now,
Direct Humphrey.
Yes. Now, I am looking for your objective impression on the manifestos that have been brought out thus far. DPP kutoka manifesto MCP kutoka manifesto. I want your objective analysis of these two manifestos. How realistic are the promises that are coming out of these presidential candidates?
Let me take you back. Remember 1994. We have rarely looked at the manifesto as a real document when it became Oma.
Is this a blueprint?
Blueprint. Because the Anhoabanga manifesto, from without, some of the Wasu could in Damagas with a Poma. Because as a country, we're not a country which has got reserves. So, because only not to fund the bank of 100. If you do not then down some song. So, Anhoabanga, something that I'm kind of manifesto, we carry very attractive. Some zone of the state for that one. Abwera bali mpikisano wanankula zintu zimene sizingachitike, but they say it as if they can be said because again anazindikira kuti Malawi amafuna kuuzidwa zinthu zimene zachitike nkale zituzo zaboza because if you go back in all manifestos kuyambira ya UDF 1994 ya DPP 2004 anapanga na UDF but going through muzona kuti makama promises ambiri. But most of those promises, I don't think even 40% of them are achieved. When you only left is about 30%.
Then is it safe to say that this whole idea of manifestos is more like a way of manipulating the electorate?
Yes, you're right. You'll be right. Ineo, as a political analyst or as a strategist, when we came up with National Planning Commission, I was very happy because I thought we were going to move away from this 5-year manifesto business into a document that would guide politicians and political parties with it easy and necessary to church. These are things that we want to do because it goes up 2063. Meaning that's a plan which the country has. So, and Handare, I think we're picking on how to achieve that plan. So we should now be looking at simply saying our economy here in the Savannah, but then based on the blueprint which the National Planning Commission has established through consultative process that Malawi was. But then I still see that you only get those manifestos possibly approved by Planning Commission, but you still see politicians and their political parties still fixated to the question of manifesto. Challenges. That is what has delayed or derailed development in this country. Because the result in Makalakuti, we are never consistent. In 1994, when UDF or when the multi-party was coming to be, this country was doing very well in all spheres, except the element of democratic process and observance of human rights. Zinto ziwiri this is very weak. Well, if you want to look at economic development, was reasonable. Ziko nine makampani ampiri, denied myself, denied everything. But then when we came in 1994, Dinapanga abandoned that trajectory. kurowa tsopano kuti tikwanirise, I mean, we just hewaya kungopanga kuzapedza kuti makampani ambiri mbiri aja tinagurisa blue chip or makampani amene survival companies amene angati kuti mwina tithandize ngati Eskom, Admark amene anakhala koma we privatize them because anthu World Bank, IMF ananena kuti zimenezi we should not get in drama zaboma za account number 1 kuthandiza these organizations. What is the result? We have today Admark as a share of itself. Eskom is basically underperforming. Zimenezi zinakhale kuti kwenikweni. So then zinthu zambiri zimene zinachitika ndikamuzi zinatayidwa. We had the financial discipline during the one party era. Kunalibe zoti kumva kuti katangale fraud, embezzlement. Ezochitika zambiri mbiri.
Yes. Zimabisika futhi panalibe ma checks and balances, panalibe zibani zina zimene zikanatha.
We are now 20 years into multipartyism. I have not heard of that history because amanena kuti mbiri sangamba osafu.
Mbiri safuta.
Mbiri safuta. Today I have not seen a government imene yanena kuti koma kumbuyo kunaliza kuti zinachitika makuti. Yes, we may not have had a free media. Koma zinthu historically zikanakhala zilipo. Zikanakhala tikunena panopo. So if ngati zilipo, it means that in your Torankani you have to work to dig and find out to say, look, comparatively, then is not go be. I can tell you that most of the people that lived during that time occupied positions of influence have died poor people, meaning they never harvested anything into to live on beyond that era. So this was the result. Chituko cha Congress yachaka mutu nthawi imeneja, it was aborted the UDF. UDF nosinayamba mawaileso waseo zambiri zina nabwereza. Atabwera bingu naoso anazitaya. Anatabanga mai Joyce Banda naoso anakhalapo 2 years. Zina za bingu anazitayaso. Anatabanga naoso anapanga zabwino zina ndizina. Anabwera Peter anazitaya. So continuity has been missing because we have lived a life where we're trying to achieve.
Mwateratu pa Peter Mutali kapitirizani kwinako kuti kapena munatera pa Mutali kuti Mutali kanazita. Mpitirizani.
Koma ndikanena za chakwera. Kunena mwachilungamo chakwera amaliza zina za Peter Mutali. Ngati mise uyambiri, these were programs which started during the time. Chile Valley inayamba ntawe. So isanatai anapanga continue ukhala kazochitika. That's why there's contestation that was in and what DPP in leadership amani audismene ndizatu because zinto zinayamba during that time zina. So apart from that zina zinapanga zao. So ninganene kuti comparatively ngena kuti mwina without you can find kuti zina zinenda kupi. Also Peter anayamba bwino pankhani ya continuation ya Joyce Banda. For example, there's a road ya ku Nkatabe Road, Mzuzu Nkatabe Road ya World Bank. Ibene jana maliza zina na one stays through. So but Zambuyo zina we never followed up. We just said this is part of the one party rule we don't want to see.
Now timalize nkhani imene ya manifesto tikambeko za governance and accountability. It seems as though many politicians recycle the same process, the same promises rather, over and over again. Each and every election, they're promising the very same things. We will do this and that. We will do this and that. From your independent analysis, are Malawians better at holding leaders accountable now than they were, perhaps 10 years ago? Are Malawians better at holding our leaders accountable?
There have never been, there has not been much improvement. From politics.
Yes.
I'll speak from politics. It has become a habit and a deliberate ploy by any party which is outside the government to do 3 or 4 things. One, to make sure that the party in government or that is ruling at that time makes mistakes. Although they may have a majority in parliament, they will overlook that mistake. The CIP the spirit of utaziipa. When number 2 I'll raise is there's a lot of greed. And that greed is attached to a spirit of entitlement. What I mean here is that city mafuna kuthandiza for any good or bad, angata Malawi city mafuna kuthandiza, and that is more pronounced ku ndare. In a game of football, you can get players from all districts. Aswera kunokwira mpira namakachinya chuka menanga chukira. In politics, ngakhale kuti utakhala kuti mavuto amene anapeza UDF sawathandiza nzawa DPP kuti ife tinadusamwe izi tinapanga chocho to resolve them. Or mavuto amene DPP anapeza boma ndi kupanga correct sangauza nzawo achakwera ndi Congress kuti ife tinadusamo 14 years between the boma has been to the tinaziona. Despite the fact that andu DPP alindia pungu ochuruka akaswiri akadauro mchana parliament mchana, they will not say anything to provide checks and balance, and then you'll find that when they're carrying out any critical analysis, budget, you have not heard to say if we are saying museu usazere uku, because economically it is not going to be helpful. Tisayambe ichi, and provide basis yote zinduzukarabani. Amena akwendesa boma, sama furaso kufusa, amena nalipo, because ama opa kalangatapu. Kakara ma president, amakara the wealth of information, but they will not want to help each other. So the spirit of kulibe. We are happy when it is us, wakara president, umafuna takara iwe. Kaduka jokamo, so mangasungata nizezako. You're not even good in the. So that's the spirit which is amplified in our national anthem. Tibakatika kantima uzikonda kosafuna kutanizana kosaganizira antusa ukameti mapanga stay. We want to save ourselves, and we want to be the persons at the helm, and we think we can only offer solutions when we are at the helm. If we're not at the helm, we will not answer our solutions. And when we're at the helm, we will not ask for, because look, this country, you don't have to invent any aspect of politics. We have got all the individuals, of the killers. The last point, we as a country were challenged by another problem. Indian opposite ambiri. And those have not rolled up their sleeves who are joining that. So as a result, the quality of individuals that are managing our political affairs, including passing laws, they are the risk takers, or those that don't have a job, an alternative job, or those that have passed off. With all respect, I'm not saying all, I've got some.
Yeah.
But nobody is an improvement. But if you come to 1994, for one to be elected to Pillar Parliament as a parliamentarian, possibly the qualification was your ability to kuntu wanakamusu. But mataka na watu walokambili kamusu, makona kuti and then you had people who went to parliament, who were ordinary mina, osoka sapar, some material. I'm not saying they're not people. I'm talking about stratification of society. The people that are able to provide direction, to help, samafuna kupanga now. I'm a whopper, because the politics is rough.
Yes, Mvula titi pa nkhani yomweyo kunja kusotu kuma kambidwa ndi anthu amagamba kunena kuti ndizotheka boma limatha chipani chimatha kuwina chisankho nkulowa mboma muja, koma kuli nkhani ya sabotage akuti boma momuja makhala anthu oti ali ndi permanent positions oti boma lisinthe anthu aja makhala ali mzintchito zawo momuja, akuti zimatha kutheka ndithu anthu ogwira ntchito mboma kupanga sabotage boma limene labwera. I don't know inuyo izizi
It is
ndizo
true.
masata.
It is true.
Komano nanga anthu amene mwasankhidwa anu mumakhala you have been given the whole mandate by the constitution kuti inuyo dziko ndili lamulirana muli ndi mphamvu yonse.
No one
amalolera bwanji kuti sabodezi zichitika m'maso mwawo Mvula.
palibe amene amapasidwa mandate yochosa anthu. Palibe. The process is too long. There's nobody who is given mandate to simply fire an individual. That's why in the three arms of government, in the executive, the judiciary, this way we find that Antrambiri, where the executive has acted, when I'm more Tamangamagas, they pay heavily, government, your taxpayer pays. How much was and the court, they are rewarded. Or a court, they obtain an injunction. But status quo is maintained. So, the photography one, pali Antrambiri, amene ama kalamboma moeda, amene kutimina they are saboteurs. Because sitting up and politicize public service. Tinayamba multipartyism, tinayamba kumatenga our own cadres.
Atu. That was
using the very unorthodox mechanism. Kangotenga muntu apo kakare apo. Ndo chipani chato. Anthu ajalibe experience chokira chito. They won't carry because amalipira card or the party carrying members. Dangerous because this kukara muntu kafike pa PS, you take a minimum of 20 years working in the public service. Unamba unajuela ngati PO, unajuela ngati EO, unajuela at the best. Ndi umaenda kuyenda kumene kuja umapanga gather experience. So by the time you become a permanent secretary, which is the highest position in civil service, ndi waenda ma stages zaka zambiri. Ndiye muntu chomukangompasa shoti kati kuti adumbire ma step onsewo. Ndo saziwa mabuku amene amaendesa chuma cha boma. Saziwa mabuku amene amapanga govern kuti mumapanga bwanji zinthu zambiri mbiri kuzichitika. Iyeyo ubikale just udindo wandale kuti ine anandikapo ndakuti. Therefore must perform malingana. So because of that, you create false royalties based on the fact that anandikapo ndakuti. Therefore must serve my interest yeyo or her interest until akangochoka yeyo iwo not even the afterbirth. So that's one other side many makara. Yena our Malamulo in the public service, they have not moved with time. Processes have lagged behind. Pakapano performance reviews umakweza anthu organizera malingana makira chito or additional things much different. Then fake qualification. The problem with the democratization process inabwelesa one amena degree are fake or my qualification are fake.
Muntu yamba ntchito mboma nditu ndi
degree ya boba masters or PhD ampasa director
na PhD waona ampasa bena bage doctor wakuti na doctor wakuti
Jerusalem University doctor jakuti abezeka kuti la mochura metele kwa Yeriko Cyprus University all of these are accredited universities and wajabezeka kuti alimba qualification amene sada kozekele ukara minimum and even when we've got now an act you bang regulate my qualifications. You see how people are resisting to respect that act. They're resisting. People respect the act, and they're still clinging on to those fake qualifications. I'm Dr. Jacob. And they're not in the world of Kutaka Pakistan. So China, the process, you chose it out. So President, singateke kutango kweramo because okanze kuti achose anthu acho. Because they also Malawians. They deserve to work in the public service. You've got
but if they are not serving to the best interest of this country, why not firing them?
We do not have a proper system. We don't have proper systems to establish. We are not serving systems. Because we don't create shit. Kakare inyoma create shit kuno ndi company. Bwana and the artistic as is your our is to talk so kwanisar. Mawa akuza nipita kupaki you should not be the face of this podcast. So Karibana. Koma go civil service. the process is bad. And because the process is toxic, it becomes very difficult for the political appointee to roll out system. Because service amanena kuti ai musaro yemwe ino. Zimakhala zilizovutirapo zopangana. And our rules are not properly established. Many areas that of America. Of America, Trump comes in, actual Southside Democrats, those that will follow philosophy yake. Akuziwaso utakazaruza Trump, or malaproperties yakaruza. Whoever will come again will do the same. Winner takes it all, and those that have lost, they lose it all. So it is possible to do it in the first world countries. It's not possible to do it enough in our country because
Bwana Mvula, tufuna tikambe nkhani ya ma running mate. Mwena sana kambe za ma running mate tikambe nkhani ya ma vice president. Working relationship between presidents and their vice. Yakhala kukhala yabwino. I can even take you back. Nthawi imene ya Bingu anawina pa ticket ya UDF ndiye Kasim Chilumpha zinaoneka ngati zinasolobana ya winate anapita temu ina ndiye Joyce Banda sizinakhaleso bwino. Tinaonanso Malemu Achilima anapita pa ticket ya DPP ndi Professor Mutharika ngati wo president yo ngati vice. Chakumapeto kwawo kumakhala ndithu kutchulana zina ndi zina m'misonkhanomo. Angakhale panopa sitinganene kuti there's a rift between the incumbent president and his vice. Suti pali pakuoneka kuti pali kudana kwina kwake. Komano zinthu zimene akukamba mwina misonkhano yawo Dr. Usi zikumafanana kundi zimene Malemu Achilima ankakamba anso nthawi yake ubale wawo ndi Mutharika utasokonekera. Mboma mumu lokuba muli chakuti mboma anthu kumafunsa kuti ino munali momwemo bwanji simumatenga action. Moving forward, tingapange bwanji ngati dziko kuti anthu awa president and his vice pazikhala ndithu relationship imene can serve to the best interest of this country.
Mwina ndiyambe kumbuyo pang'ono. Amuluza hata wina mboma anaenda Justice Malawi.
Yes, Malemu Malawi, yes.
Anakhala bwino to a large extent. Sempana over health issues is not going to come to. But they finished together. The only thing is that Malawi is anali ndi maganizo onena kuti mwina Amuluza wasila cha. But Amuluza did not have that. The interest for time in national one day. I must find a better candidate for the party because UDF did not finish or Amuluza the term at high. At high as an individual, but the party Yupanga nosedive. And beyond the reason was several other parties were formed from, and some senior members are not coming. We come into the Mutharika regime. Mutharika had the misfortune of being given a vice president, because the vice president, I mean, they are carrying running mate. So Mutharika did not take part, personal interest there. So when they were incompatible from day one.
Yes.
There's another 2005 when Chilumpha stuck onto the party and then being
DPP, yes.
And being expected that Chilumpha would
join him.
So he didn't. He said, I'm a party loyalist. I'm here because of UDF. So I can't join. So that was a source of political rift. This is nothing but an Amangisana. Whatever. Came a Joyce Banda nakanda kumbuka jari amena na banka point walk. Kuma they did Greek umaliza ko another president with Joyce Banda atenga sustain going utakale naye kati running mate wao wanakwenda pita contest ya 2014. Peter Mutharika professor iwo wanapeza running mate wao kukala Malemu
Saulo Chilima, yes.
Why and how they didn't agree, I attribute it to 2-3 factors. One is the position of a vice president in a Malawi context, yopanda mphamvu ilibe nofu.
Kunena wake mati delegated office.
Yeah, ilibe nofu. So it is not a position for an ambitious person or somebody amene alindi kutekera kuti ineso
nditoka president wa dziko.
Or I mean a president in waiting. So the constitutional order sinapereke mphamvu that position. It does not even command or require the president to adhere to certain requirements kuti muntu uja ngati vice president akhale ndi kapavu. So obviously there was a disconnect. One year late Chilima and the versus amene nalipo angatapita mtali. So zina kalankatizo sakala kunobwino. So that could have contributed. Chilima was an ambitious man. He wanted prominence. He wanted to be seen. He didn't want to kusungidwe ubuti or pakari ya mafuna kuti na also azikhala. So that was a personality conflict. Presentation again, Chilima was a well-poised person.
Yes.
So such individuals, Makazo Kupanga contain that personality in an office, here president, because Mundu Jamapanga outgrow my boundaries zake. And then because fast forward, nakoso kuna mafuto yena pa amena nazakalapo pa sokoro tifike up. Ausia is a vice president courtesy ya awandana
achakwera wabanga handpick
because another vice president actually Luke Chakwera would have picked anybody, indeed anybody, not necessarily anybody from UTM and anybody needed in this country to be vice president. So far our visuals have been good kuti anthu akulemekeza na ukhala bwino wonse until nkhani ya maranime idatuka. It seems ausi chiyembekezo chawo amaganiza kuti asankhidwa kukhala ranime. But possibly Achakwera did not want to take that risk because ausi has only been a politician for a very short space of time. He's not been dynamic. He's not been somebody who is made of politics, who was with the charisma to woo big crowds. He is now coming out of the world of the Suso now. He's trying to come out of the world of the Suso to go into hardcore politics, going to be a serious man. Koma sanafike pobe pamene pop. You find that he is somebody who stop and stick up Jimbia, kumaka pika sema ya memondi. That's not what a president is supposed to do. Or chokapaja, kwangoenda menemeja, ungopanga chane.
Wamesa president anthu andalo amakanima gimmick yawo ena mwana jambulisa mujimu ena kusewera mpira ena kutana kutana gimmick basi kungoonesa kuti I can relate with people on the ground.
Yes, you should have better ways, but I think that look, I don't think you expect your vice president, the second citizen atike pachimbia lukapika nsibu. I've not seen it. I've not seen it in Malawi. I've not seen it in Joyce Band. I've not seen it in Custom Europe. I've not seen it in any other world. Imena andamafuna kuti aoneke. Mwina inuyo kati mnaona kukina kwache some individuals creating populism. That's your experience. But as a politician, I don't expect that. And the position of a vice president or a minister deserves decorum. Because you must exude that decorum. Every time when it pop up, yes, you must be free to hug anybody, to dance with anybody where dancing is taking place. Join, you are trying to create that connection. But when I don't go below that, you are still doing drama. So not very much. Sungapanga add the value of office manager, you cannot add the respect that office makes. And then for a party like MCP, it was going to be difficult to pick an outsider as running mate now that the president is the party, they may pick somebody who is a member of the party or somebody who is prepared to be until, in my opinion, he formed his own party. Because at that particular time, he declared to fund the because the minute God forbid, if anything happened to Chakwera, he would go in. That's how BP found himself in government. And so it's
yeah. So Mvula, point I wanted us to focus on the top 3 running mates, or I should say running mates from these top 3 political establishments: the Malawi Congress Party, Democratic Progressive Party, UTM Party. Zibani zizi ma running mate awo. Tikambeza Dr. Jenansa, tikambeza Dr. Matthews Ntumbuga, amenali engineer, komanso engineer Vitumbiko Mumba. Anthu awawa anasankhidwa kuti akhale ma running mate makosana awawa pamene tupita kuzisankho. So tikudziwa pali ma scenario amene amatha kuchitika mziko amene amapangisa munthu amene ali vice president kukhala president. Koma sindifuna tipange focus the worst scenario, because sometimes it's like you are creating a bad omen. Komano let's say kuti whoever will win ali nkati mwa team yake wapanga decide kuti ineyo ndayimika manja uyu atenge kukhala akhale president wa dziko lino. Ineyo perhaps I am incapacitated, let's take this one as the president of this country. Profile ya anthu atatu awawa, in your independent assessment, tapangeni describe modzi kuti anthu ali ma capabilities anji kuti if that scenario happens mu zaka 5 zimene zikubwera ziwa nkukhala president wa dziko lino, tapangeni assess anthu atatu amenewa.
Ndikovuta kwambiri. I will begin with the preface kuti ngakhale kovuta kwambiri if that scenario happens. All the 3 are very good as vice president with an incumbent in existence. Mumba is a good vice president with Chakwera still intact. Because as a young man, he will say certain things, do certain things. So I'm so you find that it is something that needs to be looked at. My Jen answer is a fine person, experienced, legal mind, prominent legal mind. She's never been a politician. She has got to learn on the job. Learning on the job from A to Z is dangerous, because Ndare is also something else. So the president is another. So you might be just somebody who is governed by.
Koma musawali tu malemu ajiri adatenga ku private sector ndikuwapitisa mundale. Ndikuwapanga
running mate.
Yes.
Wa muntu wina.
Okay.
We are now talking about
absolutely. Yes.
If that scenario which we are trying to interrogate happen, it would be a very difficult scenario to pick up the ropes and say, I have, then let's go. It might be difficult. But they would be nice to be vice president under somebody who have considered Chito 5 years ago. Thereafter, they would have attending workshops, conferences, interacting, and doing on-the-job training, and who are Zakara Tapsha. If you want me to compare them as they are today, I mean, I could pass a head start. The Mumba. Mumba has been a minister. When he was Labour has been, they used to describe it, when the Guantanamo, Kotaya, and Famene, the riffraff, the people that they don't want. So I'm a pass. And then it's a ministry less funded, but with a lot of Maramuro, I mean, Mukapa, Agagiria Chito, and Amenamagira Chito, Apindure, Okina Chitoza. But there's no minister who was as vibrant as Mumba. Mumba shook the ministry to an extent that Inambo Panga deliver. And Apita could trade. Again, he showed that he is capable. He was able to go to border. He did it hands-on. hands-on person. So that one, Ariko Bwino. He hasn't got a PhD, but he has got, I think, some capabilities, personal capabilities. I mean, Angapange add value to the presidency. Achakwera is a quiet man. He's consultative, but you need a rabberizer, somebody who can do things out of the brew. Komayoas in control, don't go at this speed. Oyoyo Tumbuka is a very intelligent engineer, highly qualified. He has a very rich history, academic achievement. But he has got a very rich, political experience. He has not been near politics. I don't think he even dreamt of being a politician before he died. I don't think so. So it would be those individuals, our opposite, a PhD holder, who joined politics after they were inspired by the Kiribati dream. So he cannot be president. If he was, I think he would make a lot of mistakes. And I don't think he would hold the charisma of a person who has experience to talk to a diverse. I saw him during the campaign, which were very crude against Kabambi. But Kabambi was, forgiving or for your package on. Kumata Kuranko was it, and structured, but Kuranko, the Tukapakama. Zina bordering on regionalism, some bordering was also a corrupt. My gender answer, very experienced technical arts. She's been a lawyer, she's been an attorney general, she's been a bank chairperson. The last job was that of a bank chairperson. She left on a bad note. Bad note was a fateful election, which Malawians have not forgotten. At some point, possibly she was one of the most hated individuals. I don't know if that spirit has walked away from the minds of Malawians, but speaking as a person, I think she should be suspect. She might not be able to bring things together. She has no political experience. She's a prayerful person. So again, it will be a risk to say, okay, now Namina is a bomb. She may not have the wherewithal how to run that.
Perhaps maybe it may be fallacious to capitalize on her shortcomings as regards to her time when she was.
That was your question. That was your question.
Yes.
We're talking about individuals.
Yes, we're talking about
in the current setup.
In the current setup.
So you cannot rule out the element of saying another could make another can make another faithful. In my madam. So you cannot see the banana about the history of it is there.
Mvula, tikambe nkhani yama electoral alliances, which I feel like they are likely to happen with the fact that tinachoka kuja kumene timapangira mavoti nthawi yambuyomu first past the post tinaisiya imene chitapanga adopt 50+1 ndi zipani zizangomwazikana awa DPP ali kwawo MCP apa pali UTM oja zake alibe mlandu anthu amwazikana it's like a pie kuti anthu amwazikana kuti tizakwanise nkhani imene ya 50+1 chances are high electoral alliances would be needed. But we haven't seen the effectiveness of electoral alliances. Most of them have been collapsing. What really happens to electoral alliances for them not to be that effective?
There is no document or piece of legislation. You may mature the Malaya. The gentleman's agreement. Gentleman's agreement. The Mozi, the current way we in because Mozi would empower. If I was a trade unionist, I'll tell you that. But we don't have Maramuro, we don't have a single piece that tells you and you don't have anything that obligates Amina Karito Chibera or Electoral Alliance who's about respecting the minimum Gurizana by gentleman's agreement. Because they don't agree with Maramulo, muntu akasankidwa kukhala president amaendesa ziko kukuisa ntchito constitution imampasa mphamvu iyeyo alone not ndi anzache amene anawinira limodzi no mulibe ku constitution name of a party mulibe kunena kuti zizakuti kuti mukapanga alliance muzapanga choncho. So if we want to improve that, we need to have legislation that will govern the setting up of alliances before an election or post-election alliances. Vanokutiribe because muntu akakhala alliance, for example, anajoina alliance yatonse alliance basically anaima pachipani mapresident aja anaima pachipani cha FCP akazajoina panopo alliance kajana aja ajoina second vice president akufuna zakale after the election zizatengeraso kuti Peter Mutharika akawina asamsanke ndani yani he can choose not to under pressure from international bodies because ngato MF now zavomera kandi second VP azakanaria ndalama tiba sonka nawo no vote so kulibe manamuro so ndoti zizi kazi zakazokuta manamuro kulibe oti kaza mara so that's then you also come from the past yona kuti antu pamene chili manali ndazawa mbele kwa electoral kupanga kapeni mumaganizo wao maroto wao amaganizo tumena pasakala ko governing kuti wasazendesa ziko zimene kulibe nobody should themselves ndikulanko hapa ndikunena kuti palibe kagwera alliance na FCP there will be nothing kuti muzaendesa limodzi bo kabwera alliance ndi DPP there is nothing. It will be Peter Mutharika running the show. That's akanaso kucheuka kumbuyo kuti ugula jana ugula ndani ati joina ambewe iya kulibe goodwill gentleman's agreement kuti ndikwanisa zimene namkulizana. So that's where we have a problem. And then the alliances in the past have not done well. The alliances pakati pa UDF therefore the Jantan.
So, Mvula, do we really need legislation? Could perhaps, if in an event that we are having an electoral alliance, these electoral alliances should be legally binding? Do we need legislation? Could in these scenarios?
Yes, you need it because how do you deal with somebody who decides to forget? How? Because in the current scenario, there's nobody who can be aggrieved from an alliance with a bit of court. Which law has this person broken? There will be no law broken. So you need to have a law which will regulate the interest without mentioning personalities or parties. But there must be a law that governs. Electoral law, would guide going into the future.
But Mvula, in June 2019, you faulted the Malawi Electoral Commission for including Jean Matanga as well as Linda Kunje as commissioners in the commission because they were a part of the commission that was headed by Jane Ansah in the nullified elections. Munditu you were vocal about it and how sagonega bezeke mu commission and how achogema for our ngati court nabeza Jane Ansah kuti anali incompetent to govern the elections or to oversee the elections awasa bezeke mu commission panopa tinava osusa boma akudanda olanso unena kuti ife commission isi kuti sangalasa chief elections officer achoke komanso Justice Annabel Ntalimanja should resign. Ndikufuna ndikufuse ninuyo the same activism that you did show and how you manage ayo the current make inuyo, do you think the current make is will give Malawians a credible, free and fair election?
No, I think real quick because in 2019 there was a court decision.
Yes.
Which said there was no Chisango done.
Yes.
Anakana. It was notified. And the meaning would be the people that were running the Chisango, which meant my commissioner, wherever they came from, they must not be there. I think that's straightforward. That's the reason when I mapanga agitated
anthu awawa asakhalemo.
kuti zinthu sizinaende bwino. So how do you pick the same individuals kuti aendeze chisankho?
Adacha Mvula ine suti ndimakupanga ndifota apo bwet koma ndimafuna ngomva kuti mudakalibe ndi diso lakuthwa limene linaona zimene anomalemene panokupa ndimafuna ndimve pamene I wasn't voting you in any way.
No, ndinenda kuti kwankako ngoyambira.
Yes.
So John, panopo diso langa silina kuti I still see the same. The only difference
yes.
Panopo Commission is made of commissioners from MCP, the DPP. So far, sinaduse pachisankho kuti mwina chili ndi mavoto amene angakhalebo sinahambe kwawo. Again, it will be historical when we go through a similar process. If there will be a court determination, if there will be any, which will be 40, the running of an election, obviously, some of us will be saying, I was happy to visit the other difference is, for me, I've been worried. I will be said to be biased. And I'm telling you, the reason that people didn't want her was not professional or technical reason. To simply say, we are not and say, I am a chairperson. To me, that's not good enough. I don't believe with the Ineo, Nindana, and then we put on Mvula Pangandare or an analyst. I mean, Manawanga position. So the reasoning for me there will be, I look at it different. Just because we win a Bambachi or Mayaki, another one Dare, or another Wakuti. For example, in my house, I've got my children, 6. Out of 6 children, I thought we another DPP. Most no afford. We don't know MCP. We don't have that. My house, my children. I don't.
Yeah, but perhaps the basis of the argument, imene masusana ndi Antalimanja okhala make chairperson ndina kuti Atembo tusenali munthu wamba yayi. Atembo anakhala president wa Malawi Congress Party. Chipani chimene chiliso ndi stake muma elections awawa. And then the assumption is if my Antalimanja ndi mwana wa malemo Atembo patokhala bias. My decisions out. That's the fear that most of these opposition political parties are projecting.
I think differently. I don't like crucifying individuals before the event happens.
Isn't it avoiding the event from happening?
No. Then you're going to be discriminating. Today, we have Jenasa as running mate for DPP, Wapiramtari. Meaning, at that particular time, she was DPP.
She was affiliated to the DPP. Okay.
Today, we have my Matang as a women at DPP and her official Mujibana. Meaning, at that particular time, she was. So, the cafe as many as Ziti Vuta, Kupanga, Uzipanga, Buno, Peter Sokol. For a difference, am I in that time? Sana Sangido, Sana Sangido Richard. Anna Sangidwa, the Judicial Service Commission. Judicial Service Commission. Come symbolically, I'm appointed by the president of the day. But the nominee comes from the Judicial Service Commission.
Could my judge in the hour, many Ali when I go Pando, Sankana.
Okay. Number 1 in the number 2, number 3. So what that sitting president does is the Menagapanga analysis yao Frank Macarianas Abasa Montomene, Amica Comama Sankido de Antwerp. As for the chief elections officer, many Anasankido commissioner. who are in equal number, can 2, can 33, from the two major parties. And that's there was an interview that was carried, and the commissioners in unison chose to appoint this person, Ukara. My commissioners took up, and then atatu MCP, atatu DPP.
Mvula, pamene tikupita kumalechereche a macheza athu tikambe kunkhani yofunikira kwambiri to do with the fight against corruption in this country. Ndikutengerani mbuyo pang'ono in the year 2022 mu September menemo Mvula inuyo muda nena mwandithendithe kuti amene adali wankulu wa ACB pa nthawi imeneyo Martha Chizuma munkafunisisa kuti atule pansi udindo wawo pa nthawi imeneyo padachitika nkhani yonena kuti chipani cha UTM akuti kudagulidwa magalimoto 44 koma munjira yokayikisa kapena kuti njira ya chinyengo nde ACB nthawi imeneyoyo it is on record that inakanika kupeza ndithu umbono ogwirika nde ino munkanena kuti zikuona ngati amayiwa ali incompetent, therefore achosedwe ntchito. Amayi aja ndithu tinaona kuti sali ku ACB kuja panopa adachokako imene ndi nkhani yakale. Komabe inuyo ngati munthu amene amasatira zinthu zimene zizi, are you still with the view that Martha Chizuma was incompetent for the job of an ACB director general?
My opinion, no?
That's your opinion, yeah.
You know, Martha Chizuma was a fine character as an ombudsman. And I was excited and possibly also canvassed, public canvassing, advocated for appointment as the ACP director. I did so because she was very courageous. She did very well for ombudsman. I was still skeptical though about the ACB job, because I remembered that she was qualified as a lawyer, and then she was a magistrate. She was chief resident magistrate. She didn't do prosecution. She didn't do any additional qualification in investigation. She didn't run an organization like ACB. So, because you need those skills to carry a complete ACB director. But you must be able to look at evidence and be able to say, look on the investigation. So, if you remember, the whole country was very excited when ACB, when Chizuma was appointed as ACB director. We expected her to go running with ACB with Apanges in Zambia, dealing with current and old cases. Some of the old cases were obvious, but they were never, so nothing happened. First year we said, oh, we're not wearing Gabi. Second year, we're wearing Gabi. So technically, at the time when Chizuma was leaving ACB, he was not an amused person. There's all of them in a children candy. UTM and Magamor candy. And God can 200. Nothing was happening. And then there was no response coming off from ACB director, from ACB, plus other cases in Naripo. I could have been one of the people who were saying, do the Maiwa, Saudis and Desert. So then I was worried when I found her fighting the judiciary, accusing them, Zojitika. Then the one of the because that was the number of Shito. For example, you're an SB director, Chito yako munda wako ukuru, ndi makoti. Kamanga wantu, pitana kwa makoti. So if you burn bridges, when I say, and there's a personal space, so you're accusing them, but you never wallet. She demanded, kuti amasule malamulo azita kumanga at will without seeking authorization from the DPP. I said that's good. She looked for additional resources. I thought that was good. She was given. She didn't change in terms of doing things. So that was a disappointment for me. So whatever I may have said about her was based on whatever she had done during the initial 2 years.
Ndena mpaka na vanamanena kuti achizuma sanapangidwe support ndi dziko ngati dziko kapena anthu amene kugwira nawo ntchito hand to hand. She wasn't supported. The environment wasn't conducive for her to execute her roles as SCB director. Anthu amene mungayankhule motani for mukuoneka ngati kuti you're still skeptical about the competence of Martha Chizuma sitting as SCB boss then. Are these people justifiable to say kuti no, amayiwa sina abase support, amayiwa perhaps state sina abase support amene kukhala nayo as an SCB director?
I think a number because, for example, Makala presidential villas, full security are given. So as a person...
Yeah, but let's talk about administrative support.
Just wait. I'm not Kalawin. Because she was not able to organize and work with CBO staff and supportive because external support, in my view, was given. But when internal support, we can't know. That is your responsibility as a person. Because general manager aware by ESCOM. If you want to see those engineers pull in one direction, it is your job to build the unity and the togetherness and the outrage. We have not been taught of areas which Senator Desirwe. So in the absence of that information, it will be very difficult for me to change opinion. Because Jizuma, Anna Choka, she would contract in her.
Yes, Makamaka.
She was a nice woman. As a woman, she was very nice. But when she did not live up to the bidding, even
as a country, are we winning against the? As a country, are we winning on the fight against graft?
The could be in a we are not.
We are not winning. What?
We're not winning.
Where are we missing it as a country? Is it political will? Don't we have political will to fight against corruption in this country? What exactly is it missing about Malawi? Kuti mpaka na lero kani izingokhala katangalo katangalo.
What do fail? Part of corruption is traditional.
It's inherent.
In us. Kumayambira kumuzi. Amfuma yuzo mlandu.
Kupita kumuzi. Nyumba.
Yes. Amfuma yuzo mlandu papase nkuku. So anything that happens, muma pasana zito pasana. Ubereke munda ukapeleka kena kacho kutikapelekedu. That becomes a problem. Then our system of life, we are in the upita huko, and it's an opeza jitu. Yeah, ndikapase kabuzi, ndapase. So we just
traffic speed
and you are very quick. You don't even care about and most of the individuals car traffic kufusa ndarama. I mean samafusa. Umapeleka ndio hata mwakurukira ai. Ukaibi kama ndako hapo. Ubelera onyamuna bangi. Ai na wapeleka. So that part is the problem. The other part our politics. You know kuti tawina, it's our time to eat. And that one had here. If so, tidie. Adu karwa mboma makara kudia. So if so tidie, but that one had that's where the contestation you karwa mboma makara very high. Because during a judge makara karwa mboma ukara close to the Kitumba. So that's a problem. As long as that spirit continues, improve. because everybody else will be looking for it. Ngani zoti mundu akalakwa zina timakwirira tiesere panopa a lot of people who are arrested ndi anthu amene yana kuchipani cha DPP. If DPP itawina chisankho pa 16 September kani ndoseze zata.
I
can tell you, even currently, the tactics that are being used are delaying tactics in the hope kuti mwina zitiendera akakalapita president watu azati kurukira.
What's your opinion on presidential immunity?
I still support it.
You still support it?
I support it.
The president,
you cannot have
the sitting president messes up. He shouldn't be held accountable by the law.
There are two things that happen. You have parliament, you can impeach him. You also can deal with him after he has left his office. But you cannot disturb a president as you carry a bit of court. He failed, that toxic. If you remove the presidential immunity, a lot of individuals would take the law or would decide, come on, get them. As you bit of court, you don't frame the issues. So I still support the provision of presidential immunity, except that it is kind of vigilant. The CSO community at Rankani was vigilant. Vigilance is an important element that we must maintain. Because if we don't, we will be let down.
Tisanafike kumalechereche kwa macheza athu pano pa Face2Face Podcast. Timafuna tikambe ku nkhani ya kusowa kwa cement. Zinthu zingapo shuga chani koma tipange focus pa nkhani ya kusowa kwa cement Malawi munomo. Vitumbiko mumba na nduna seems to be coming in hot and hard kwa ma cartels amene iwo kunena kuti kuli ma cartels ena ake amene zinthu zija pamakhala smuggling ena makhala kuzipanga hodi kuti zikamafika pansika paja zinthu zikhale zokwera mtengo. Ndimafuna mupereke opinion yanu yakagwiridwa ntchito ka Vitumbiko mumba osati pa issue ya cement koma amene analinso kunduna wina uja. Is his working style reactionary or proactive?
It is possibly both. It is reactionary in that amatabanga atamva ataona and wadandaura sugar yo akusoa cement tukitika mwaka mamoto. Then let's talk about cement. Prior to the saga we're talking about here and local manufacturers of cement anadandaura musimu zambiri zimena wafuna udata atandizidwe anatandizidwe, but they have not stopped kukweza ntengo wa cement. Some taxes were removed. Kuma sana bange the Supreme Court kuti ya Malawi azipeza ko bwino pazinthu machitika. So I would say, look, it is in terms of reaction and another there was an engagement, another anapasa. Kuma sana sinte they have used it because they are no business ambiri. Abafuna kupeza ndaba zabiri basi. Funa bange maximize my profits. They will take advantage.
So lastly, Bwana Mvula, we are going to the polls, like I did say in the preamble, and it's a well-known fact kuti basamasiku je bajabe kuti Malawi tikaponya vote. I want you to speak to whosoever is going to carry the day after the 16th of September. Kaya zakala aswira amaza wine kazakala akabambe kazakala mutalika kazakala achakwera kuti Malawi akhulupiranso da achakwera pitirizani kulamulira dziko lino. Whosoever may win these elections, I want you to speak to them as someone that has been following politics in this country and has been a politician for many years in this country. Talankhuleni kuti angazambe bwanji
I would want Minanga win whoever, whether it is Chakwera or Mutarika or Squira or whoever.
Yes.
That person should have a fresh start. Montima Mache Montruja, as a current team Okara, one-term president as a target. So come to voter. Ndikukane maganizote ndipitirize zabange save 2 terms. Kwa one-term president, you're going to bring about change. because zibuli zinthu zambiri Malawi muno zimene zolakwika zofuna munthu wina amene mtima wake mwene ndikhala one term ndi zisinthe. For example, we cannot continue business as usual kumapanga deal ndi nkhani zimene tikunena apa za AIP fertilizer zimene zimakhala waulere timakhala tikulipira ndi ndalama zochepa. We must find alternative ways of sorting out the issues of fertilizer. Koma timadziwa aliyense amaopa kulankhulapo andisandivotera teme yachiwiri. So somebody must be prepared to deal with it. Somebody must be prepared to take decisions which are difficult. Zakatangara. We need to have a robust ACB. Aliyense amene organized Katangara, he must be kicked out. Also, it will be difficult to do that if you have ambition to continue for several terms.
It's my pleasure to have hosted you in the program. Mumamvesesa tikakuyimbirani foni Mvula bwera nababalika nkhani ma media houses ambiri mumapita musanyinyirika. You are a true citizen of this country. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for gracing the show.
Thank you very much for having me in this program today, and there's so many other competent Malawians that you should have chosen to invite to take part, but you settled on me. Thank you. I'll be available next time when you invite me again and time permitting. So thank you.
So that's it, dear viewer. Abantu bamene tamaliza majiza athu mu Face2Face Podcast. Ine ndine Victor DAFFRECE. Until next time, bye-bye.